All right, guys, good morning. This is our final review. This is it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach this video. I'm going to wait a little while, and if I get any questions from you, I'll gather those questions up. If you text me a question, and I will make a part 2, and I will have Miss Megan Francis put it up on the website for us. If I don't hear anything from you, then I'm going to assume that you don't have any questions and that you're good to go for the final. Let me remind you, the final in this class is longer than a normal test, and it counts 2 test grades. It counts a lot more than just a regular weekly test. Let me say that to some of you. Some of you in school, you take the entire class time and usually most of the writing class to take your test. Yet online, you're doing them in 15 minutes, and your grades are showing it. You cannot afford, anyone can afford to fail this test. It counts too much of your grade. So you need to, if you fail this test and you are on a borderline of passing, it'll cause you to fail the class. It could also really, even if you have an A, it could really bring your test grade down. So if you have questions, you need to ask them, okay? Send me a text or an email. If you can't get a hold of me, call the school. They'll give me the message. Let me tell you about what's on the test. First, I wrote the number 81,264 on the board, not because that's from the test, but there's going to be numbers on the test, and it's going to say simply, is this number divisible by 3? Do not divide it out. How are you going to know? This is a very simple question. If you remember way back at the beginning of the year, we talked about our divisibility rules. A number is divisible by 2 if it is an even number. If this digit is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then yes, that number is divisible by 2. So is this number divisible by 2? Yes. Is this number divisible by 3? Well, a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3. So you look up here, you say 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 plus 6 is 17. 17 plus 4 is 21. Is 21 divisible by 3? Yes, so that number is divisible by 3. A number is divisible by 4 if, 1, the last 2 digits are both zeros. That's not the case here. Or the last 2 digits, the 64, is divisible by 4. Well, is 64 divisible by 4 evenly? Yes, it is. So that number is divisible by 4. Is this number divisible by 5? Well, a number is divisible by 5 if the last digit is a 0. So this number is not divisible by 5. Is this number divisible by 6? A number is divisible by 6 if it does 2 things. 1, it must be an even number. Is it even? Yes. 2, it must be divisible by 3. Was this number divisible by 3? Yes. So that means this number is also divisible by 6. A number is divisible by 9 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 9. We added them together. We said they were 21. Is 21 divisible by 9? No. A number is divisible by 10 if the last digit is a 0. Now let me remind you, when I say is it divisible by, it means does it go into it evenly, okay? Next, section 2, the second type of problem that's going to be on your test. There's going to be addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. This will include regular numbers as well as decimals or fractions, okay? The third type of problems I've just put on here, mentally solve. What I mean by that is if you have a problem like this. If I give you the number 3.861 times 100. Don't multiply it out, just solve it in your head. How do you do that? Well, you know that this has 2 zeros, so that tells me to simply move my decimal point 2 places. Do I move it to the left or to the right? Well, I'm multiplying, so I'm going to move it to the right. So my answer would be 386.1. If I was dividing, it would move to the left. I'm going to ask you to find the product of primes. What is a product of prime? That is your prime factorization using the division of prime. So let's say I have the number 640. What is the first number you use in the division of primes? It is the 2 because it's an even number. So I put 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 4 2 times. 2 goes into 0 0 times. My number is still even. So what am I going to do? I'm still going to use the number 2. 3 divided by 2 is 1 with 1 left over. 12 divided by 2 is 6. That's even. 0 divided by 2 is 0. 160 is still an even number. So I'm going to divide by 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 0 divided by 2 is 0. It's still even. And so I'm going to divide by 2. 80 divided by 2. Well, 8 divided by 2 is 4. It is still even. I'm going to do another 2. All right, and then we go into 20. We're still even. We're going to do it one more time, and now we have 10. 10 is still an even number, so we're going to divide it again, and we get 5. 5 is not only not even, but 5 is prime. Once this last number is prime, I know that I'm done. So the prime factorization is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be 2 to the 7th power times 5. Or 2 times 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 5. That is the prime factorization or the product of primes. Okay? Let's look at this next problem Mrs. Turner has on the board. I have 5 3/4 times 2 1/3 divided by 1 1/5 divided by 2 1/3. I didn't solve this problem. I just made it up. Okay? So what's the first thing we're going to do? Change everything to an improper fraction. Okay, so 5 times 4 is 20. 20 plus 3 is 23 divided by 4. Times 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay, then I'm going to divide. 1 times 5 plus 1 is 6 over 5. And I'm going to divide by 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7 over 3. Now what do we do? Okay, we're going to multiply, so we're just going to bring this down. Okay, this says to divide. So what do? You keep the first one, so I'm going to bring it down, change your sign, and flip the second one to 5, 6. Then I have another division, so I keep the first one the way it is, change my sign, and flip the second one. Now what do? Cross cancel. Can I cancel anything? Well, yeah, I can cancel these 2 7s, make them both 1s. I can make this 3 a 1. I can make this 6 a 2, or I could have gone to the 3, either one. It wouldn't have really mattered a whole lot. It's going to give you the same answer. Anything else? That's all. So now I'm going to take 23 times 1 times 5 times 1. That's going to be my answer. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 and get my answer. You'll have these kinds of problems on your test. Look at this. It's been a while since we did one of these next ones, and you definitely are going to have several of them on your test, so make sure you understand it. Let's say there's an average, and you want to take a test. Your average in Mrs. Turner's class is a 92. On test 1, you got a 90. On test 2, you got a 94. On test 3, you got a 95. What did you score on test 4? You don't know. Well, how do you find it out? You're going to say, I'm going to take my 3 tests, 90 plus 94 plus 95, and I'm going to add those together. So 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 9 plus 9 is 27. Okay? Then I'm going to take the average, which is 92. How many tests did you take in all? You took 4. You only have 3 grades, but you took 4 tests. So multiply by 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 9 is 36. Now, take your total points possible that you made. You made 368 points. You made 279 of those points on the first 3 tests. How many points were left? Well, 8 minus 9, you can't do that. So you got to go here, make this a 5. 19 minus 9 is 9. Okay, 5 minus 7, I got to borrow again. I'm going to have 15 minus 7. And you're going to have an 89 on that last test. All right? Now, with all of that being said, let me erase this real quickly. Sorry about that. I turn my back to you. All right. I'm going to give you some other questions. Questions like, let's say Brother David went to the store and he bought pop for the school store. He bought 7 cases of pop. There are 12 cans in each case. How many cans of pop did Brother David buy? What are you going to do? Multiply the number of cans per case, which is 12, times the number of cases, which was 7, multiply for your answer. You will have some problems that look like this. We're not going to solve it. I just want you may write it down and work it out if you'd like. But if you had 2/3 over 15/16 equals x over 1/2. How would you solve that? You're going to cross multiply. You're going to say 15/16 times x equals 2 over 3 times 1 over 2. Okay? So you have 15/16. I just said I wasn't going to solve this, didn't I? These are going to cancel, giving us 1/3. What do we do now? We're going to use the reciprocal to get rid of this fraction. And what's the rule? Whatever we do to the left, we must do to the right. So 1/3 times 16 over 15. This all cancels, leaving us x. Over here we have 16 over 45. Okay, so that kind of question is going to be on your test. I'm trying to look real quickly. I'm going to ask you to solve. I'll give you a fraction. What is its percent? What is its decimal? Then what is its percent? Okay, I will ask you to solve orders of operation. Okay, orders of operation. That's when you have things like the square root of 4 plus the bracket, parentheses, 2 minus 1 plus 4 times 2, parentheses, bracket, and you have to do them in the right order, okay? You will have positive and negative numbers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, positive and negative numbers. Remember, when you have a bunch of numbers that are like -3, then you're going to plus 2, minus 3, plus 5, minus 11. What do we say? We use algebraic addition. All we're saying is all of these signs go with those numbers and we add all of them. So -3 plus +2 plus -3 plus +5 plus -11. Can you subtract a negative number? In other words, if you had 5 minus -8, can you do that? No. What do you have to do? You have to say 5, change this sign to addition, change that sign to a positive sign. Now you add them, okay? You will have adding like terms. Adding like terms. We just did that this week. There isn't a ton of them, but there are a couple. You will not have surface area. That will not be on there. You will have a volume question, okay? But it's a simple volume question. It's not a massive one. But you will not have lateral surface area. You will not have surface area, but you will have a volume problem on there. Trying to see what else is on here that you will have. That is pretty much everything. You're going to have different kinds of fractions, different kinds of powers and orders in operation. It is a fairly long test. I may actually break it down into 2 sections. That might make it a little easier for you, just depending on your device that you're using. But I don't know that for sure. They're having trouble with my computer and the network, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. But if I need to make any adjustments, I'll come and make another video and put it on here. If you have any questions regarding the test, as soon as you watch this video, text me your questions. I will gather the questions up over the next day or so, and I will put them together, and I will put one last video up to watch right before the final. or I'll put it up today on Friday so that you have one more chance to look at it. That'll be your last chance to ask me questions before you take the test. Okay? So, hope you had a good day so far, and I hope you studied. Please, guys, you must take the final the day it's assigned. When it is put up, it will close out and you will not be able to go back and take that final later. I have to turn your grades in on Wednesday. I have to have them all turned in. So I have to have them the day they're assigned. You must take the final so that I can grade it and that I can get your grades for you. All right? All right, have a great day.